Um, Hello, good folk of the internet, and welcome to the second episode of Adopted and Awkward.
Yay!
I am your host, Nova, from the great United States of America, because we are, and joining me is my best friend and sister in Christ, JJ in the UK.
Hello!
So,
Folk of the internet. Love it.
yes, that is how I am going to address the audience.
Indeed.
Well, listeners, we don't really have an audience just yet, but anyways, JJ,
Yes.
why did Noah bring two cows onto the ark?
I don't know. Why did Noah bring two cows onto the ark?
Honestly, I don't know either because the punchline doesn't make any sense to me, but apparently he wanted milk with his cereal.
Oh dear.
I don't get the joke. I really don't
Well,
get the
it's like,
like what? I don't get it. Like why?
oh no. Oh no, that is so bad.
It's so
It's
bad. It's
it's
so
not
bad.
even it's like it's just reasonable. Like, yeah, he wants milk with his cereal.
Well, it's like
Like, well,
are
duh.
they trying to say that one cow gives him the cereal and the other cow gives him the milk? Because I don't even know where he'd get cereal from.
Well,
Like,
then that is actually so true. Why did he bring two cows? Is he making cow cereal? What?
I don't know. I don't
What?
know.
That is weird.
I don't know. But anyways, that is the Bible joke for today.
Wow. That was incredible.
Honestly, the joke for next week, I don't get it either. These are so
But we'll say
bad.
it anyway because it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny to not get jokes because, yeah, now I'm going to think, like, why does he need two cows to have cereal and milk?
I don't
Like,
know.
what is he doing?
I suppose I could look up the Bible verse. So they got this because they tell me where they get the joke from. Okay, so this is
All right, yeah.
they get it from Genesis 8:1. So let's go to Genesis 8 real quick and
Okay.
find out like why did they what made them whoever wrote this. Okay. So this is Genesis 8 verse 1. But God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark, and God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. That makes even less sense.
Okay.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Like, I get the milk. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but the way it's asked, like, why did Noah bring two cows? Because he likes milk with his cereal. It makes you think that one of the cows is providing the cereal.
I know. Like, I don't understand.
Like, oh my goodness. Oh, we do love a Bible joke.
I feel like it'd be better if the food item was cheese curds or something.
Yeah,
Because one cow, you get the cheese, the other one you get the curds. I don't even know what curds are. I really
I
don't.
don't. I like lemon curd, but I don't actually know what curd is. I know it is some sort of dairy product.
What's a lemon
I
curd?
have
Have
no
you heard of cheese? Do you know what a cheese curd is?
I don't. I've never heard of a cheese
I
curd.
don't know what a lemon curd is, so we're equal, I guess. A cheese curd is just like a little clump of cheese,
Right. So lemon curd
basically.
is a little bit like it's like jam, but it's lemon curd. It's just lemon.
It's just it's just lemon
Lemon,
jam?
like lemon flavored curd. Like, but it's like
Okay, but
jam.
what? That doesn't answer what a curd is, because if it's like jam, I would assume it's jam.
Well, no, but
Right?
it's like a spreadable lemon thing.
I know we could just Google this, but I like being in oblivion with what a
Yeah,
curd is.
absolutely.
Then
Yeah,
we've
it
spent
makes it
way too
fun.
long discussing this joke.
We did. We actually did. But
We did 5 minutes on the opening joke. Um. Anyways, welcome to anyone who's listening.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fun time. It might get a
Yeah.
little serious at points, but
And a bit sad as well at some
a
points
bit
too.
sad, but not too sad. We don't want
No,
too much
it's
sadness. No
not too
crying.
much sadness.
No,
No, I
that's
won't cry.
an
I
established
won't
rule
cry.
on this podcast. No crying. If you feel the need to
I nearly
cry,
cried last episode.
what? What made you
I
cry?
did.
What almost made you cry?
Well, no, it was the end in prayer.
Oh, but
It made
yeah.
Yeah, I got tears in my eyes.
Don't say
I
that.
did.
You can embarrass me. You're doing it this
Oh,
time, by the
no, I've
way.
just remembered I am.
You
Oh,
are. Yeah.
Nova, no, I've not prepared.
I didn't prepare.
Oh, no, now I'm gonna be anxious the entire time.
Oh, don't worry. Don't be anxious. Just you know, send up a silent prayer of your own
Yeah.
and tell the Holy Spirit to just speak through you. And he'll do it.
So
He'll do it. He's got you.
we're trying to get better at like impromptu prayers because
Yes.
like we both go to Bible studies
Yes.
and one of the scariest things to be asked for me and Nova is to
Yeah.
lead the prayer. It is terrifying and I'm just I get stuck like and so we're trying to practice doing
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So Nova does it one week, I do it the other week. And yeah, just an impromptu prayer so that we can get a little bit more confident in praying out loud in front of people.
Yep.
So
One of the goals of this podcast is to help us also grow and learn and gain more
yeah,
courage. You know.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Um,
And but I think that's a good idea. No, I'll be fine. I won't be anxious. I
yep.
will ask the Holy Spirit to guide me.
Yes. You will.
So yeah, the first things first, let's talk about our week.
Yes,
I
we
Yeah,
always have a Sunday story, okay? Usually JJ has a Sunday story because she goes to
yes.
a fascinating
It's
church.
so, yeah, it's so funny.
But
Unfortunately, I
this
didn't
week
go.
I'm gonna share a little Sunday story, and it's not actually about anything that happened at church per se. Um, my I guess my church denomination is I go to a Presbyterian church, and
Mhm.
this weekend, I don't really know when it started or when it ends, but there's a week-long meeting, if you will. I don't really know, like, I've never been to one. I barely know about them, but it's basically this meeting of a bunch of PCA, which is a Presbyterian Church in America. Bunch of
Mhm.
pastors from all over the states, maybe outside of the states. I don't know. I think it's in the states though. And they're doing a meeting in the state of Kentucky, which I can talk about because I don't live there, and none of my pastor's not from there, and neither is my uncle. And I mentioned those two because I really wanted my uncle to come and visit me so that I can literally take him to my church that he helped me find. He basically led me to the church. Oh,
Mm.
I want him to meet like my pastor and my elders and some of the
Yeah.
people I've become friends with just because, why not? And
Mhm.
unfortunately, he's probably not going to be able to come visit me anytime soon. Uh Next year, late next year at the earliest, maybe. But when my pastor last Sunday said that he wasn't going to be there this Sunday because he's going to this PCA meeting, I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. Well, the Bible study that I'm doing online with my uncle got canceled because he's going to be going to this meeting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be at the same place. You can meet each other. And so, yeah, I hooked him up with with the contact info. I didn't actually set a meeting
Yeah.
between them. Um, and I'm hopeful that they'll get to meet each other and you know
That is so cool.
become good friends because they both like to read a lot. and
Yeah.
probably share embarrassing stories about me because that's what my uncle
Oh, yeah,
does.
this is it. Yeah.
So I am only sad in the fact that I will not get to be there for their first meeting. I'm like, aw.
That's
But
cool.
I do
It's
think it's
such a
kind of cool that
small world.
it is such a small world, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. I
oh.
think that is really cool.
Which is
I do
ironic
think
because I actually bought myself a little globe so that I can find where the UK is. And when JJ showed me where the UK is, I'm like, your country is like the size of one of our states.
it's so tiny.
It's like I didn't
It's
real
really, really, really
I
small.
didn't realize just how big the United States is until
Yeah.
you pull out a globe and circle it and like you can
Even,
point
like
and you're touching 4 different
yeah.
countries. There's just one
I
very
mean,
like, it's crazy.
America yeah. America is really, really big. The UK is just so tiny. It's so small. And do you know what fascinates me about the UK is when you think about how small it is, but then think about the range of accents that we have.
I
There's
know.
so many there is so many different accents that change from, like, literally like Birmingham, which isn't that far from me. It's an entirely different accent.
You know,
Um, it's crazy.
fun fact,
It's
apparently every single person from the states, like each state has its own accent,
yeah.
but it's like some are more prominent than others. Like I know New Yorkers, they kind of have a style
Yeah.
to how they say things. Um,
Mhm.
Southerners, like, pretty much if you're in the South, any state, you're just you get that Southern accent.
I love the Southern
Um,
accent. Love it.
and it's like you never know until you go somewhere else or you meet someone from another state. So there are accents within the various states. But
Mhm.
apparently, because it's just you and I've got the American accent, and I guess that's popular in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys are as fascinated by me as I am of you, I suppose.
It is, it's so true. It's so true. But I think it's because, like, you yourself, when you listen to yourself, like, you don't really think of yourself as having an accent.
No.
Um, but what's really, really funny is that when me and Nova actually first started talking to each other, like, with voice, she barely understood what I was saying.
It's true. It's true. I've gotten much better. She's just speaking English to me now, but before I'm like
What?
I got like 2 words out of that.
Ah, that makes me laugh so much.
But
I
the
love it.
worst part now is that she'll say a word that means something completely different here,
Yeah.
like tea. I remember the first time
Oh
she
my
talked about
god,
getting
that is
tea,
so
and
funny.
I'm just sitting there like,
Oh,
"Why?
no, I was
You
like,
order your tea?"
I'm
Like, what
gonna yeah, it was like, I'm just drinking oh, no, 1 minute, what was it? Yeah, I'm making my tea.
you're
I'm
making your
eating
tea
my
and like,
tea. And
I
you're like,
just
"Why are you eating your cup of tea? Like, that's
I
weird."
yeah.
I was like, "No, my tea is, like, my main meal, like, my dinner." I should say breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we say
They
tea. We
call
say,
it
"What's for
tea.
tea?" or "Tea time." And it's just our evening meal. And for a very long time, Nova thought I was just chomping down on cups of tea.
I did, I did. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you drink more tea than
Like
I
that
do."
scene like that scene in Willy Wonka where he's, like, sipping a cup of tea. Do you know the one I'm talking about? And then he just crunches down on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me, and my evening, I like to chomp on cups of tea. But yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny the different words and the different meanings.
This is why it's so
And,
great to
like
have a non-American friend. I learn new things every day.
yeah, well, it's like when I said that I was like knit and natter. Like natter's not a word in America, is it? Do you use natter as in to chat?
Okay, she told me that, and my brain immediately went to Harry Potter, which makes
Natter.
sense
I was
because
oh, I
it's
can't remember.
like just I think it was your Knit and Natter because that sounds like something out of it sounds like a shop in Harry
Yeah,
Potter, like where you buy
oh,
hats or
it
something.
does. Oh my gosh, Nova, it
So,
does.
which
Knit
makes
and
sense
natter.
because Harry Potter was created by a British woman, so it makes sense
Now,
that I would think of
now
that.
I want a shop that sells knitted goods, and where everyone natter I want it. I want that shop.
You know what? That'd be a great idea because I know in what is it, Japan, they've got, like, cafes where you can go in and eat and, like, pet a cat. You
Oh my gosh,
just
yeah.
do the British equivalent, you go in, you get some food, you call it tea, and you knit.
You knit and you natter, and I sell all my knitted goods
Yeah,
because I'm getting a dab hand at knitted goods.
and, if you follow us on the various social medias, you will see JJ's knitting and the progress she makes, which is way more than I've
Oh,
ever done.
it's just so much fun. Like, I for real think God led me to knitting because, oh, it's just completely captured my heart. So, and this actually goes into like, so obviously we're called adopted and awkward. We are both incredibly awkward and socially awkward. And
Yep.
one of the things I really struggle with, like if I, for example, if I'm going somewhere and I'm meeting someone, but they've not arrived, like I will sit there and like just mess on my phone, but not actually open anything because I don't want to be rude, like, watching TikTok. So I will just like open apps, close out of them, and I just look a right weirdo. I've got because I need to do something with my hands. Um, but now my knitting goes everywhere with me, and I just knit. I can knit everywhere, and it's just glorious.
You are going to
I
have to
absolutely love it.
post a picture of your kit. I
Oh
kid you
my
not,
gosh.
she showed me her, like, knitting needle kit, and she unrolls this, like, leather piece, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that looks like a thieves' kit from Dungeons& and
Does
Dragons or Pathfinder or something, like, that's
so
freaking
cool.
cool."
Oh, I need to do a video of it like unrolling. Like,
Yes.
yeah, it does. It's yeah, and it really does look like a thieves' kit. It's so cool, but then it's knitted needles.
Well, speaking of your knitting and sharing that with others, that kind of leads us into our subtopic number 1, which
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead and tell us how
Yeah,
sharing that's
so
been.
yeah. So one of the things that I've come to like notice, because I'm still, I mean, it's next month is a year since I'm coming to Christ. So still very
4th of
much learning, still very much
July, special day for America
I
and
know,
JJ.
it really is. And one of the things that I have come to notice, like, um, is the difference in friendships and like so I shared like what I did with my church family with some friends, and it just never it didn't get acknowledged, and not that I'm doing it for recognition or anything. I'm absolutely not. It was just something I wanted to share, and it made me think about how people that you are friends with or people that are your acquaintances with, once they learn that you've come to Christ, there is a I feel like there's a bit of friction. There is, and me and Nova were talking about this earlier this week, about how like so for example, I could say to my friends like, oh, I'm going to a clairvoyant this weekend, or I'm gonna go and get my tarot cards read, or something of that nature, or my chakras are going to get balanced in whatever, and it's like it would be so readily accepted, like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely, that sounds really cool. But as soon as you mention Jesus, it's like this it's like they just don't want to know, like that is the door is shut. um and with that feeling of change within relationship within friendships, I am definitely wrestling with a feeling of vulnerability when it comes to sharing my faith, because I do not want to be embarrassed. Because I think I mentioned it in the last episode that I know that there will be people in my life that are shocked that I've come to Christ, because I have changed so much in this past year. Um, so many, like my priorities have changed so much. um like my friends now, like my core group of friends, I call them my family, are elderly women, and I go and knit with them, and that is my place of joy. I love that so much. Whereas previously, like before coming to Christ, it was going out and drinking, meeting friends and going out and going to pubs or bars and stuff. Whereas now I have no desire to do that at all. I want to just knit with my little elderly friends and I love them. But I know that that people within my life will probably be a little bit put off by this new version of me. Because I will be completely honest, like I was known as the very loud, sort of funny, but also crude one with the crude humor. And I'm not like that anymore. I don't want to be like that anymore. And I know, and that is also another thing, like it kind of makes meeting up with friends a little awkward because I know that they'll be expecting a certain kind of behavior from me, but that behavior is no longer something that I claim. Um, and it's a very strange, it is a wrestling thing, and I've got to wrestle with it and accept the fact that people will view me differently now that I've come to Christ. But I will never ever be ashamed of that, and I will never ever be embarrassed about it. I will not be embarrassed about Jesus.
I I was telling JJ when she was talking to me about this. First of all, great podcast topic. Um, but also that
Did it make sense, by the way? I felt like I rambled.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
try very hard
good.
not to interrupt you when we're recording because I want listeners to hear what you have to say because people might be sitting there and being like, "Oh my gosh, I've had that experience." And
Yeah, yeah,
I think it'll be good to know that you're not alone because I
and
think
that's what we want.
uh whether you go to church or you have, you know, you're thinking about it or whatever, sometimes I know for me, like I felt really alone.
Mm,
And I guess I was kind of fortunate in that I didn't go out and party too much. I
yeah,
just It's actually kind of the opposite for me. I just felt so isolated. Like the people I did
yeah,
know didn't want to hang out. They didn't want to do anything. It was all online, all social media,
yeah.
whenever they were even available. Um, but no, I remember I you know, sometimes I think the way people behave around you after, whether you're thinking about becoming a Christian or you are a new Christian, I do believe that that is God kind of opening your eyes and doing some pruning and like, these aren't
Mm,
good for you. These aren't good for you. I'm going to lead you to the people who are good for you. And it's
mhm.
painful. It's extremely painful, especially when you don't get it right away. You spend a year of just agonizing pain. Like, why is this person gone? Why is this person treating me this way? Why is this person yelling at me about something we've never had an issue before? Why do I feel like I need to distance myself from these people? And and then you realize, oh, it's because he had something better in store for you, which
Yeah,
for me personally, I think in the last episode when I was sharing my testimony, I talked about my friend from back east, a former coworker who would always call me her bestie. And
yeah,
I I honestly I didn't mind it because I liked that she looked at me as that. But I didn't really look at her the same way. I looked at her as a really good friend, a really close friend, but I looked at her as more like a sister, a big sister who was helping me kind of navigate an aspect of life. And, she and I had a really deep friendship, the best friendship I thought I could ever have. But when I lost her, it hurt. It hurt so much. But God then led me to JJ. And JJ, I say this with 100% sincerity. She is my true bestie. She is the best friend I've ever had in my life. She is the type of friend, like, if you're a kid or even if you're an adult, and you're sitting around and you're writing a list of like, what are the ideal qualities of my best friend? You
Oh my
know,
gosh, you're
you
gonna make me
no, I said no crying, no crying on the podcast.
my ears my eyes are filling up.
Well, you
Carry
know
on.
what? Well, I gotta finish my thought. But no, JJ and I, we have so much in common. And
Yeah.
we'll literally just have an episode where we go through how we met. But
Oh,
we are
yeah.
not only both, we both love to play video games, but my ex-boyfriend loved to play video games, and so did my former bestie. But the types of video games they played were not the exact same types I played. JJ and I played the exact same games. We love the exact same characters. We even create characters that kind of unintentionally look related. I mean, we just did this a few days ago.
We
I, you
did.
know, we we kind of have the same senses of humor. We both like the idea of writing stories around like
Yeah.
our characters. Um, we both, I mean, heck, we both have a cat that looks like they could be brothers.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, they
um,
do.
I just need to step up my game because I've only got one cat. She's got two cats, a dog, and a snake. I ain't getting no snake, but I do want another cat and a dog. um, and then the fact that JJ and I not only came to Christ, but we did so within a few months of each other. And we've
Yeah,
been able to walk this journey together. It's
yeah.
it's like you can't look at our story and see God absent. Like, you can literally just imagine God
Seriously.
sitting at a writing desk, like, and they're gonna do this, and they're gonna meet like this, and they're gonna have this it's gonna be great. They're gonna be so tied
Yes.
together. It's gonna be awesome. Like, it's
Yeah,
just him. Like, their
it is crazy.
coincidence
And we've yeah,
is not a word that matches
it's
our
not.
situation. It's just not
Like,
sufficient.
when we get
Um,
into it, you will come to understand the amount of things that had to happen
yes.
in a specific order for us to even connect.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, it's painful to lose people you think are your best friend, are your boyfriend, are your partner for life, until you actually meet someone who you can say without a hint of feeling like it's awkward that you are my best all caps friend. You are the
Yeah.
sister I've always wanted. You can, and some people get really awkward about this, but um I'll actually probably wanna do an episode about this because my pastor and the elders, um, brought a book for our church congregation to read, and, it's called A Heart Aflame for God, and there's a section in there talking about Christian friendships. I've
Mhm.
literally only read the introduction, so it's gonna be a long way off before I talk about that book, but when he was kinda given a preview, he talked about, how the book will go into Christian friendships. And I'm just like, "I can't wait to read that chapter." It's like the last chapter in the book, so it's gonna be a while, but I can't wait to get to it because I'm sitting there listening like, I think I'm blessed to have a Christian friendship, and I think,
Yeah.
you know, we kind of got away from like, when you say "I love you" to somebody, it's generally somebody that you're, most would say being intimate with,
Mhm.
but that's not all that love is. I mean,
No.
or someone who's in your family, I should say, not that, but,
Yeah.
like your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, your life partner, whatever. You always think
Yeah.
"I love you" is reserved for them, but love, I mean, God loves us. Okay, he
Mhm.
doesn't love us like we love each other. His love is way nigh unfathomable. It's
Yeah.
how much he loves us, and I think, you know, it I'm kinda dancing around it because it's even hard for me to say because I live in the modern lens, but, you know, I love JJ. And I don't mean that as, like, anything weird. I love her as a sister in Christ.
And I love you.
And yeah, and it's yeah, it'll be awkward to say. Even my pastor was like, talking about, like, older, in like way in the past when, people would express their love more freely. And he would like,
Yeah.
yeah, and you walk up to a guy and say, I love you. And he's like, and the other guys kind of standing there like, I love you too, man. Like if you say man, it makes it better. Like, yeah,
Yes.
it's true. Because it is hard. It's like, you generally want to reserve that or think you need to reserve that for someone close. But,
Yeah, and
if
it's
you,
funny
have the ability to say that to someone, I think that's really special.
it is.
A
It
special
is,
kind of
and
friendship.
yeah, absolutely, and I think as well the term "I love you" can get a little overused,
Oh, absolutely.
because and where it actually loses its meaning. But when I say that I love Nova, it's genuine and it comes from the heart, and it's not just empty words. I think sometimes it can be empty words. I know I've been guilty of saying I love you to people that I did not love. Well, I know we're called as Christians to love everybody, but you know what I mean. I'm still a baby. I'm still learning.
I've actually, I actually have done that in my relationship with my ex. He would
Yeah.
say he would say I love you all the time. He'd type it, text it, whatever. Or he used to. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
We just stopped communicating. But when it first started, it was like I love you so much, I love you. I'm like I love you too.
Mhm.
But every time I said it, I'm like, do I really? I think I do. I think I
Yeah.
loved him, and looking back on it now, I think I liked him. It was a
Yeah.
big like, but I don't think it ever stepped into love. Um,
Yeah.
because, I always felt bad that he would say it all the time. And I'm like, I told him a few times, like, when I say I love you, I want you to know that I mean it. I
Yeah,
want you to know that
absolutely.
this is a word that I don't want to take lightly. I don't want to take it for granted. People go to work every day and they say to their partner, goodbye, I love you, see you when you get home, and it's just so
Yeah.
casual. And it's like,
It is.
I lived the first part of my life as a Christian who looked and on God, like I looked at God with a casual lens, like, I never didn't believe in him, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like God and love and things like that. It shouldn't be taken as just casual. They should
Mm,
have a deeper connection, and
mm.
that's something I'm trying to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is hard. It is very, very difficult. Obviously, when I say that I love you to Nova, it comes easy because, we have this connection, we have this friendship,
It
and
does
it's,
get
you
easier,
know,
yes.
yeah,
The
it's
more
just that
you know.
yeah, it is. It's,
Mm.
but I think we did touch on this in the last podcast about obviously as Christians we are called to love everybody, and that can be very difficult.
It can be.
Um,
It absolutely can be. I
um,
was actually thinking about that uh, the other night. I actually thought about emailing uh, one of my elders or my pastor. I haven't decided which one. But I guess if they listen to the podcast, do I still have to email you, or can we just answer in the comments or something? I don't know. Um, but I was actually thinking, like, I I don't think I shared this on the podcast because this is just our third recording. But for Mother's Day, I put together these little Mother's Day baskets for
you
a
did,
few of the ladies at my church because I just felt like it's Mother's Day and I kind of have spiritual mothers who I just wanted to show some appreciation for the kindness that was shown to me. And one of them commented that giving gifts is my love language. And like,
yes,
yeah, it is. It really is. But I've been thinking about that. Like, if giving is my love language, when I do things at work, like I'm putting together a whole 4th of July thing for my coworkers at work, and I did something for Easter and Valentine's Day. I can talk about that on a different episode. But I also I like to give people things. And it bothers me that I'm not super rich to where I can give even more, unfortunately. So if you want to help with that, do promote our
yeah,
podcast. But
yes.
We have to get better at that. We completely left it out last episode, so I'm
Oh, I
trying to
know.
reiterate the whole like,
Yeah.
subscribe, follow,
Like
all
and
that
share
nonsense. Yeah, like and
and
share.
subscribe.
Yeah. And I love how Chibi Jesus gave a thumbs up right as you said that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Perfect timing. Um, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Anyways, um, oh yeah.
Spiritual mothers.
So, um,
Oh, no,
the
sorry, love language.
love language.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that. I'm like, I thought about that and God's command to love your neighbor. So
Mhm.
my question is, am I showing love to people when I do these types of things? Because especially with Independence Day, I was struggling. You know, Valentine's Day and Easter easy to kind of give Bible verses to people in the
Yeah.
gifts. But 4th of July, I'm like, this is really kind of an American thing, and I don't really know, like, I know we're founded in Christian principles, but I'm like, I don't really want to overdo, I don't want to
Yeah.
oversaturate people who are more resistant.
Mhm.
So I'm like, what am I like? So I'm leaning more into the red, white, and blue America 250th than I am Christ. And I'm like, kind of struggling, you know, am I still sharing God if like I just put a little cross in a candy basket? Is that going to be enough?
100%.
Or is the action of my giving displaying love for my neighbor?
Yes, I think so. I think so,
That's
and
my question. It took me
I
a minute, but that's the
yeah,
question
no,
I have.
I absolutely think so, and I think as well that when it comes to, like, sharing the gospel, yeah, it's talking about Jesus, talking about the good news, but I also think, and I do think I mentioned this in either the pilot or episode 1, that, one of the best ways to draw people to Christ is to be to give love freely. Like, for example, the ladies at my church, obviously they don't talk about Jesus all the time because, like, for example, at Knit and Natter, but when I look at them and how loving they are and how they carry themselves and how they talk to people and treat people, I can see Jesus working in them. So I absolutely do think that just the act of giving gifts and showing kindness is honoring God, and I do think that's enough, because especially I know these people, they do know that you are Christian,
Most of
and I
them.
think,
I don't
yeah,
actively
and I
like try
think,
to hide it, but I don't go
oh
around
no,
proclaiming I
and I
am a
think
Christian either.
I'm
So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely,
um,
but yeah, I think the best way to lead people to Christ, or one of the ways, not the, it's just, this is just my opinion, is to lead by example, like show people like how to live and be kind and be loving, and gentle. And yeah, I
mm,
mean, there's so many.
not easy.
It's
Not
not
easy by
easy.
any
It
means.
is,
But
no, it's not. Like, I
um,
aspire to be like, there's one particular lady in my knit and natter. Her and her husband are the most beautiful people that I have just ever encountered. Just, and I aspire to be like them. They are just so selfless and so, oh, it's just, they're just absolutely beautiful. And I can see how Jesus has worked in their life, and it emboldens me to continue on this path, because I can see the good that God is doing for them in their actions. Does that even make sense?
oh, absolutely. Um, you doing your knit and natter thing. I don't have that,
Yeah.
but I was invited to a I call it a book club. I don't know if
Yes.
my fellow church ladies would call it a book club, but that book I mentioned that the pastor and the elders handed out, um, 2 Sundays ago, I was invited by one of the church ladies to meet at the church on Wednesday evenings and discuss it, which I'm like, "That sounds cool." And I was really nervous because I was expecting it to be like the Bible study I went to, earlier this year. So I thought there'd be a bunch of ladies there. I'm like, I'm always kinda shy, so I'm probably not gonna say too much. No, it's literally 4 of us.
Yeah,
And, like, I can
that's
do this.
nice.
I can do this. And
Yeah.
there's 2 ladies there who okay, uh, JJ and I decided before the podcast that we're gonna make a list of every real life person in our life, and we are going to
Yeah.
equate you with a video game character.
Oh
I
my
don't
god,
have
yeah.
names for these 2 ladies yet, but they're like, um in every movie, every video game, every book, you always have those 2 characters. Like in Lion King, you got, Timon and Pumbaa, and,
Yes.
like, there's always 2 side characters that just are, like, bros. It's usually 2 guys.
Yeah.
You know, that is that is, like, these 2 ladies. They're, like, 2, you know, sisters, just, like, they're so funny. I love them both, and I'm like, "I hope that you and I grow up to be like these 2 ladies." The 3rd lady is
Yeah.
amazing as well. So it's kinda like a little trio, but I love it. I love it. My
Yeah.
life goal is that we can do this podcast into our, like, 80s and 90s,
Yeah. Oh
and
my
just
gosh.
oh my gosh. I just have so much fun with it. That's what I
Yeah.
wanna do.
Yeah, because I want someone who, like a young adult, when I am of that age,
Yeah.
to look at me and see what I see in these women
Yes.
or these people,
Yes.
because they just them, oh, they I can't even explain it. They exude Christ in just the way they are, and I just love that, and I want to be that. But it was so funny because we were talking about doing like still doing this in our 80s,
Yeah.
and it was like, what was it? Adopted and still awkward.
Yep, adopted and still awkward.
Oh no, adopted, aged, and
Oh,
still
yeah, that
awkward.
one, yeah, we were tossing around different titles for it. Yeah, we'll update the title at one point when if we reach a
Yeah,
milestone or whatever.
and it's so cool. And like, I mean, my our
Oh.
goal for this podcast is to guide, well, not guide, we're not guiders, we're not teachers, we're not theologians or
Yeah,
anything else,
no, we're
but
not the
we're not anything
educated
like that.
portion of the
But it's to
Christianity talk.
no, oh, absolutely not. But it's to show, like, the ups and downs of walking with Christ and to encourage people that, um, so hopefully you can
Talking
relate
about,
to.
like, Christ on the daily, because I love listening to pastors talk about, like oh my gosh, one of my favorite, because my own pastor does a podcast, so if anyone wants to listen to his podcast, I will happily put a link. I need to remember to put links in the description of our videos. I'm really bad at it, but we're gonna get better at it. So I
We
can
will.
post a link to his podcast. But anyways, one of his favorite episodes of mine is kind of the most gruesome episode because he talks about, um, a destruction of the, temple in
Yeah,
Jerusalem, and it's after Christ died. He talks about, like, "Surely this generation will not pass away before all these horrific events," and he goes into all the horrific events and the history of it, and, like, I love the educational aspect. That ain't
yeah.
me. I ain't here to give you a history lesson. We
No,
aren't here
no,
to
no,
say
no,
this
no.
is for fact, the Bible well, I mean, we'll share the
Absolutely not.
Bible and we'll just read it to you.
Yeah.
Um, but we're not I mean, I can't even quote Bible verses. I can remember the
No,
words, but I can't
I
remember
can
where they come
paraphrase.
from. Paraphrase, yeah. So, but yeah,
But yeah, and
no.
it's literally this is
This
just
is just like
we are
Christ,
just sharing our awkward stumble through
our
life with
awkward
Christ and
stumble, and
just trying our
yeah,
best because
we are.
that's all we can do.
And the little
It's all
moments,
anyone can do.
like when so we're kind of aiming, like, to record our podcast on a certain day and then release
Yeah,
it either that day or the following day. Um, we were gonna do it on Mondays, and we were gonna record last night, And
Mhm.
me and JJ were just like, we get in our call and we're about ready to record the podcast, and I'm like, I don't really want to. I don't really
No.
want to. And JJ even said that she wasn't feeling up to it either. And so we just kind of hung out that night.
Yeah.
And literally right before bed, I send her a message like, JJ, the topics that we were gonna discuss, I don't think we should discuss. It didn't
Mhm.
feel like it was right. And not
Yeah.
like it was a bad topic, just like it wasn't the right time for this discussion.
Yeah.
And so as we gravitate towards our subtopic number 2 and get to our main topic, yeah, we were gonna talk about something completely different, but now we are going to talk about fathers. So that's the
Yeah.
main topic. Subtopic is
That is the
talking
main
about
topic.
parents putting their children on the internet for clicks, which is horrible to
Yes.
me.
It
Um,
is to me.
so yeah, this I don't really
And
want
this
to
is because
play any I mean, I suppose I could play the one because it's just audio but it doesn't really matter. Um, I guess so I was listening to the Live Free podcast with Josh Howerton, which is another podcast that is very educational. He knows what the heck he's talking about. And if you guys want to actually, if our listeners actually want to learn and grow in faith that way, highly recommend you go listen to it. I love him. He's great and he's funny. Um, him and his co-hosts. But I was listening to one of their latest episodes, and he played this clip. Now, his thoughts on it are different from what my thoughts and JJ's thoughts are going to be. One, because I don't have children yet. Hopefully, maybe
yeah.
someday, I don't know. But different discussion. JJ
Yeah.
is a mom, and
Yay.
a lot of people are going to, are up in arms about it. But basically, what it was is there's a video that sparked a bit of outrage because it's a man holding a baby. So it's two guys, two dads. They had a baby through surrogacy, and this is child number 3. And they posted a video where the man's, holding the baby and, asking if the baby wants dada or papa. And the baby, I don't know, should I play the audio?
Yeah, you can do if that is something you can do.
I think if I play the audio, it'll come through. So I will. I'll play the audio just so you can hear, because the video doesn't really matter. I mean, the baby makes like a face, but it, anyways. Um, I guess after the fact, I'll let it play, and if it doesn't actually show up in the audio, I'll just insert it because
Yeah.
I have the power of editing. Anyways, here we go.
Who do you want, Dada or Pop?
Mama.
No, Mama. Do you want Dada or Pop? Who do you want, Dada or Pop? N- No. Do you want Dada? You want Pop? No way, Jose. No way, Jose.
I think. Oh.
There is no Mama. I'm so sorry. You have Dada and you have Pop.
Two choices.
No Mama. No. No. No Mama. Dada or Pop. But no.
If you actually watch it, it is kind of sad because the baby's just making these sad faces. But
Oh.
yeah, it's they ask if the baby wants dada or papa, and it says mama, and then I will say the baby. So, like I said, a lot of people have different thoughts about this. I'm gonna kind of offer hopefully a different perspective. in that, well, my first thought is kind of an out of the box thought because a lot of people are like talking about why these guys had this baby, where's the mom, and all this nonsense. I'm like, I don't really care
Yeah.
about that. My thought, because I'm out of the box, is like, you know what? I wonder because if this baby's being raised by two dads, obviously, first of all, it's a baby. It doesn't really have vocabulary yet. They're
Yeah.
probably in like if there is a mom in the house, you're going to have mom and dad saying mama, dad, dad all the time, and eventually they might pick up on it.
Mhm.
But, if there's no mom in the house, they're not going to do that. So I was
Yeah.
wondering, I'm like, I wonder what the origin of mama is. And I told JJ before I Googled it, I'm like, JJ,
Yes.
I bet this baby, because if you watch the video, the baby doesn't start crying until dad says, no, there's no mama, until he says no. And if you have a child or if you've seen a child, you tell a child no and they cry. That's what
Yes.
that's what they do. They get upset because you're telling
Oh,
them
they do.
no.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I bet it's not really asking for mama. I bet the origin of mama and dada came from babies. I
Mhm.
made a bet for this. And
You
I
did.
should have bet money on this because
You
I went
should
to
have done.
Google and lo and behold, yeah,
Yeah, it
babies
shaped the language.
babies so naturally, especially when they're, you know, when mom is still breastfeeding, the babies will actually make noises like mama, 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 mama. It's not really saying mama. The
No.
parents took that.
Yeah.
History took because mama and dada are universal across all languages.
Yeah.
And so what happened is the baby just kind of made noises and humans were just like, "Oh, I'm mama. Yeah, I'm mama."
Yeah.
Because babies
Yeah.
only breastfeed on mama. And then there's dad. They just, dada, it's not really calling dad. It's just another sound that babies make kind of as they're furthering developing in their mouth and
Yeah.
their teeth and the tongue or whatever. So that's where mama and dada came from. Like, I knew it. I knew it.
You called it. You called
So
it.
no, my outrage more comes, well, outrage. It's not really outrage more as it's just annoyance. Is the fact that they put this on the internet. Because I
Yeah.
looked into this story and this isn't like they're trying to make it more than it really is. The guy
Yeah.
I think in the video is holding the baby. I think I don't know which one it is. I didn't look too deeply, but I guess one of the dads is a comedian or trying to be a comedian, and they are setting up a bit for this homophobic baby. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
another video where he's talking about, "Oh, you're such a happy boy, you've got a sister, you got a brother, you got puppies, and you got two dads." And as soon as he says that, the baby kind of makes a face at him. And so
Yeah. And
they're
it's literally just making a face.
it's
But
literally
yeah,
just
they've
making a
turned it into
face,
a bit.
but they're turning it into this, like, bit, and I'm like, "This kid is going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. He's
The
gonna
internet is
grow
forever.
up and have a history of being the homophobic
The
baby."
homophobic baby. Oh my
And
gosh.
like, why would you do this to your child? And there's
Yeah,
so
I
many
totally understand.
examples of this. We
There
were looking
is.
it up earlier, and, like, that's
I
what
mean, you
really
know
upsets
more
me.
about yeah, it is, it's terrible. I will never ever understand parents that do that to their children.
Yeah.
You know more about I have heard of them. What is it called? Eight Passengers?
Yeah, so a while back,
Yeah.
I found this documentary, and it has like the best name ever. It's called Ruby and Jody, A Cult of Sin and Influence. I'm like, oh, that sounds fascinating. What's this about? So I watched it, and yeah, basically, the woman Jody, she's the one I'm focusing on for this because it's a whole story. Or no, Ruby's the one with the kids, and
Mhm.
Yeah, their history is that they do this they have that or have or had, I don't know. They had this YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. They were a family of 8, mom, dad, 5 kids,
Mhm.
I think. 7. I don't remember where they got that name from. But anyways, they got a bunch of kids. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, they just record their life.
yeah,
Like sitting at the table for breakfast, you know, getting ready for school. And as they kind of play some of the clips of the videos in this documentary, you start to see as the kids get older, they start, they go from being toddlers and having cute moments or whatever, things that they don't really understand being filmed about. And then you get into like preteen, high schoolers. It's
yeah.
like, oh, like, one of her daughters just had her first period or like wanted to shave her legs or something. And it's like you can see
Oh
the embarrassment
gosh.
on the girl's
Oh,
face.
yeah,
And it's
it's
things like that.
terrible.
I mean, at one point they show her, the mom got in a car accident, and the first thing, like, it's not a serious car accident, like they just got rear-ended or something. Pulls out her camera and immediately
Yeah,
is like, "Oh my gosh, we just got in a car accident." Everybody, and you see
it's
the camera pans to the
crazy.
kids, and they're just like, they have this face like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
And
and
I think
instead
that
of comforting your children, your first thought was to, "Oh, I can monopolize on this." Crazy.
yes, yes. Now their story is way bigger, but that's like I said, just so many examples. There's another one that
Yeah,
JJ just sent me.
yeah, because
This
I
like
have
woman on
oh,
Come
YouTube.
closer for the video.
Whoops, sorry, sorry.
think it was a while ago. I didn't. But, I
um,
mean, I know vaguely the story of 8 Passengers, like, I have heard, but I'm not, like, overly knowledgeable about it, but I remember, I think this is a few years back, there was a mum with her son who I think that I think the dog was poorly and could die or whatever, I can't remember. Um, and she is trying to get the perfect thumbnail.
that was the video
Um,
that just accidentally played. If the sound even come through,
yeah,
but yeah, yeah,
and so for whatever reason, she obviously mistakenly uploaded this video of her trying to get this perfect thumbnail of her and her child um acting sad for the about the dog. And she's like pulling these faces and she's saying to her child,
Do you want
come
me
on,
to
look like you're crying, look like you're crying. And the kid's like, I am
do you
crying.
want me
And
to
his
play the
heart,
audio for this one as well? It's only
yeah,
58 seconds. Yeah, I'll play
yeah,
this one
you
as
can
well
do.
because you can
Yeah.
just there's going to be some commentary from the humanities YouTube
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing, I think, but just to hear the first part about her.
Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Act like you're crying. Really quick. I am crying.
In 2021, this vlogger was caught manipulating her child to gain more views.
But go like this for the video. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth.
Yeah, she starts like offering to, and then he goes on to ask her, you know, if she's sorry that she did that or if she's sorry she got caught, and it's pretty clear that she is
Yeah,
sorry she got caught. But you just
yeah.
listen if the sound even went through, because I've never done this before, I don't know if it went through, but if you heard the sound, the poor kid is just like, she's like, "No, you act like you're crying," and he's like, "I am crying."
I know, and it's
It's
heartbreaking.
like, why would you do this to your kid?
I know. I
Like,
could. I mean, son is a teenager now, and I just can't fathom parents that use their children as props, basically for views on the internet. And yeah, I just don't get it. I do not get it. I would never have done that to someone. Oh,
background Bob.
bleep that. Yeah, background Bob. I nearly said his name. Is there a way that we is there a way that we can bleep
I
that?
think I can edit that out. We'll just pretend you're cursing.
Oh my goodness. Background Bob, that's what it's called. It's
Bad
like
JJ
it's
being
I
foul-mouthed on
know.
this
I
podcast. This
know.
is family friendly.
Yes. But yeah, I could never fathom doing something like that at all. Like, your priority is to protect your children, and the internet I mean, it's just a scary place. You see these like, TikToks of these parents with the babies, or toddlers, and they're in nappies, like not even dressed properly. And
For
there is
the
thousands of saved
American listeners, I believe she's talking about PJs or
diapers.
pajamas
Yeah.
or yeah, baby diapers.
Yeah, diapers, like, yeah. Oh, that's funny to say. So, like, they're literally just babies, toddlers just walking around wearing diapers, and the parents are putting that on the internet, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, and obviously the child is not doesn't understand that this is going on the internet for millions of people to see.
Yep.
And I just think it's just instantly failing to protect your child from weirdos of the internet, because we live in a very messed up society. It is. The world is falling apart at the seams. And
Yep.
I would never want to expose my child to that, or
Mm.
have him, it's just, I just can't wrap my head around it. I really can't.
I will
Um,
say, I just had a thought that kind of relates to this topic and kind of segues into our main topic is one thing that up until we had this discussion that I never really thought about is I appreciate how Charlie Kirk and his wife, they didn't hide their children, but yet they did at
mm,
the same time. Like
yeah.
every time you see a picture of them, like I have a Charlie Kirk book that I was gifted by one of my wonderful church bros. And yeah, every time you see their kids, they are facing towards the camera, and the kids, you only see the back of their head. And like
Yeah,
that's a fantastic way to do it. Because it's not
absolutely.
like, you can ask a kid, "Oh, do you want to be on camera?" And the kids
They
are,
won't understand it.
I'm sorry, kids are dumb. And
Yeah, they are.
they can't give consent because they're like, "Oh yeah, it's it." Like they'll think it's fun. They'll
Yeah,
think it's a game.
of course they will.
And then they grow up and they realize, "Oh, that was really embarrassing. Can we delete that
Yeah,
forever?" It's
and
like
the answer is no. It's always going to be there on the internet.
as a parent, as someone who might like to be a parent someday, I would want I mean, I think it's a parent's job to protect your kids
Absolutely.
because kids can't protect themselves. They might think they can, especially the older they get, but they can't. They can't.
No,
They don't.
they need to be protected. They
It's
can, and
it's
you are so right. Kids are dumb, and because they don't know anything, and it's our job to teach them.
I
And
mean,
yeah, you can
the
ask for consent, like,
the
be on the
best
camera. Of course, I say yeah.
example of this is God himself because we
Yeah.
are his kids and he knows you're dumb
Yes,
and you need a
and
lot
we
of
are so dumb.
rules and you gotta be very specific rules
And do you know what?
and we
It,
still
with this,
can't handle them. We still can't handle them.
and do you know? I sent you that video yesterday, like how. So when Jesus calls us sheep,
Oh my
I
gosh.
only just realized
Yeah.
yesterday just how much of a roast that was. I saw a
Oh,
video
yeah.
of sheep like wrestling and trying to get away and just being so stubborn with
They
the
don't want to
person
be
of
on
the
their leash.
farmer. Yeah,
Like I'm
and
trying to.
like
Oh,
I'm trying. Yeah, and the person's like, "I'm trying to help you.
I think
I'm
I
trying,"
even
and the sheep is
saw.
like, "No, no, no, no."
I saw a Facebook post with sheep, and it was like it's got a cartoon Jesus talking to a cartoon sheep or whatever.
Mhm.
See, I probably can't find it, of course. But yeah, it was pretty much Jesus is like, why don't do you want to come over here? And she's like, nah, I'm good. And then you got another panel, which is like, are you sure? There's like wolves out there. Like, no, I don't want to go over there. Leave me alone. And he's like, I'm just trying to help you and keep you safe. And the sheep's like, I want to do my own thing. I can handle
Yeah,
myself. Leave. And then the final panel is like the sheep surrounded by a bunch of wolves. And it's like,
yeah.
I should have listened to that guy. Like, yeah, we should.
Honestly, and do you know what makes me laugh is, like, I saw someone in the comments put my sign You know, when you ask for a sign from God if you're making a decision, and we've said this before,
Yeah.
like my sign needs 10 signs with
Yes.
fireworks
Yes.
and neon letters.
And even then, it's like, is that really for me? I want to
Are
be
you sure?
sure. Are you sure that's for
Sure.
me? Like, there's no other signs within a 100-mile radius, but I want to make sure it's for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it
we're so
like I
bad.
could have
We're so bad.
like he is a father with the utmost patience. The
Oh my
utmost
gosh.
patience.
Utmost
Because
patience, utmost love, and utmost mercy on
oh
us.
my goodness. And oh, aren't we lucky to have that? Because oh my god,
Yes.
I could not cope. But yeah, and so that kind of like goes into our main topic because it was Father's Day on Sunday.
It was.
Um
And I just want to make
and
a very distinct point about how America and the UK celebrate Father's Day on the same day, but not Mother's Day.
I don't understand. I'm gonna have to look into that because yeah, that's so weird. But yeah, we have Father's Day on the same day.
Oh,
And yeah, and we just wanted to talk about fathers. And obviously
best one is Heavenly
our
Father.
Heavenly Father. And, you know, in keeping with the whole, you know, sheep thing and how stubborn they are, one of the funniest things um is so the Israelites,
Oh my
how
gosh.
stubborn they were. And like as a mother, as a parent myself, and I read some of the things that God says to these people, or you know, through Moses, and I'm like, that is what I would say as a parent to an unruly child. And it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, what was the first one that made me laugh?
I know you were going on about the quails.
Oh my gosh. That is so obviously like during when they're on the journey to the promised land. So he God provides for these people and he provides them with manna and it falls from the sky. And you know, it's food,
And
it's there to
I
nourish.
have pulled up the Bible chapter where this is located if you would like me to
Yes.
read any of it.
Yeah, well, I'll say it and then you can read it and just make sure like I've got it right.
Mhm.
But so basically, from what I can remember, is like the Israelites were complaining that they didn't have any meat. All they had was manna and they were bored. And so God is basically like, okay, okay then. You're not going to have meat for one day. You're not even going to have meat for 2 days or for 3 days. You're going to have meat until it starts coming out of your nostrils.
Yup.
It's just brilliant. It's like, yeah, that is something I would have said to my child. Like if they were complete, like they had everything they needed, and if he was like, "Oh no, I want this," and I'm like, "Okay, then have it until you're sick of it." I just love, I just love how he is. It's so funny, and I'm sure as well. I think I'll have to look it up, but I'm sure at one point he says to Moses that he's gonna send an angel to go with him and the Israelites because I think scripturally he says they're long necked or something like that, which means that they're stubborn, I think. And he's saying that I'm going to send an angel because surely if I go with you, I will just flick you off the planet. Find it. So you've got the quail one up, haven't you?
I got the man and the quail, and I just realized. So, they were in the desert of sin.
Yeah.
I'm reading this. It's Exodus 16. It's literally the first verse. The whole Israelite community set out from Elam and came to the desert of sin. I'm like, what? What? What the?
Yeah.
I'd never heard or seen that before. And yeah, it says in the desert. I skipped verse that part of it, but In the desert, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt.
Oh my
There we
gosh.
sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted, but you have brought us into this desert to starve this entire assembly to death." And the Lord says to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I
Mhm.
will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions." He starts so easy. Don't take any more than you need.
Yeah.
And on the sixth day, they're to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on, because, rest on Sunday, or rest on the Lord's Day. I don't know if that's Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't really matter. And, and so Moses and Aaron tell all the Israelites, "In the evening you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. And in the morning you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against him." Who are we that you should grumble against us? Um,
I just love it.
and then Moses goes to say, "You will know that the Lord, or you know that it was the Lord when he gives you meat to eat in the evening and all the bread you want in the morning, because he has heard your grumbling against him. Who are we? You are not grumbling against us, but against the Lord." And it just goes on. Then Moses tells Aaron, "Say to the entire Israelite community, come before the Lord, for he has heard your grumbling." It just goes on and on.
Honestly, I've just found as well that bit that I was they don't it doesn't call them long-necked, stiff-necked. But let me read this to you. So this is Exodus chapter 33 verses 2 to 3, and this is the New International Version. It says,
Oh
"I will
yeah, I
send an
was also reading NIV just to clear that up.
I will send an angel before you and drive out the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Peri oh gosh, Nova,
All the
Peri
Hittites, all the
all
Hittites.
the Hittites, yeah. Go up
Shorten
to
it.
the land. Go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go with you because you are a stiff-necked people and I might destroy you on the way."
Oh my god. And
It's just
is that the
like,
Lord speaking or the angel?
yes, the Lord.
It's literally just like, "Just
It,
go in front of me,
yeah,
give me a minute,
yeah.
and not
You are,
smite you." Oh my
yes.
gosh, I love it. I love it.
I
He's
love
such
it
a
so
dad.
much.
Such
I
it's like kids
know.
throwing a temper tantrum. It's like, "Go over there, give me a
It's
minute so I don't
literally,
hit you in public."
I'm not even kidding. It's like the modern, I will turn this car around right
Yes,
now.
and the fact that he does for the years he does. He literally turns the car around. Oh my gosh.
Like the Israelites are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Literally. Are we there yet? I'm hungry. I don't want bread. I
My
want
gosh,
a
that's
turkey
literally just
stick.
clicked. That is
Oh my
literally just
gosh.
clicked in my head. Yes. The
Oh.
Israelites are like in the car, like, I'm hungry, I'm bored, I don't like this, don't like that. Are we
Are we
there
there
yet?
yet?
Are we
Are
there
we
yet?
there yet? Are we there yet?
And God's like, I will turn this car around right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's really tickled me.
Oh, I love it.
That has really tickled me. Oh gosh, that is so funny. But yeah, there's like stuff like that throughout the whole sort of like 5 books, like Moses. I think Moses is the author for all of them. Is he the author for
Yes.
Genesis? Yes, he
Yes.
is.
Yep.
Right. And you can just see how God is trying. Well, he's God. He's not trying. God just does. He doesn't try, he does. But being this heavenly father to this very young civilized society, and he builds that up, and I just find it so interesting, like seeing all of the laws and commands and stuff. And so my interpretation, and like I say, not theologian, not anything, not educated in any of this is just like my take.
Mhm.
But in terms of like the cleanliness laws, like I see that as him literally teaching them basic hygiene.
Yes.
Like, if you are dirty or if you have an illness you need to be away from people and go and be clean. And I see, and it's just shaping the society to be lawful and hygienic.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I will say that there are a few times that I've like um where you read in the Bible and you kind of like you get to a point and you're like, what? Where did that come from? And I can remember having that moment with like Lot's wife because I was just happily reading it and then all of a sudden she was turned into salt and I was like, wait, what? Um and there was also a moment as well where I'm quite happily reading it and then all of a sudden I think Moses is in a tavern and his wife throws foreskin at his feet or something. And I was like, oh, okay. So there is definitely, when it comes to the Bible,
It's got
I
its
pray to
moments.
it does have its moments, and I pray to God like I cannot lean on my own understanding. So help me understand. And I pray for wisdom and stuff and to help me like understand the Bible. And because of that, I can actually see this and like I'm not even kidding, like Leviticus and Numbers is very, very heavy on laws and commands and rules. But having prayed to find understanding within those heavy, heavy chapters, I can see what the point is, what the whole thing is that he's building this very young society into being apart from all of the other societies that were around.
You know,
You know,
one of my favorite father moments with Moses and the Israelites is when he puts Miriam in timeout. I mean,
yeah,
it's literally what happens. So
yeah.
in Numbers 12, Miriam and Aaron oppose Moses. And the fact that Moses is the one writing this makes it even more funny. Because it goes, Miriam and Aaron begin to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they ask? Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this. And then in parentheses it goes, now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. Like, really? And then
He's actually right.
at once the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, come out to the tent of meeting, all three of you. So all three of them go out. And then the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud. He stood at the entrance to the tent and summoned Aaron and Miriam. When the two of them stepped forward, he said, listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left. When the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin was leprous. It became as white as snow. Aaron turned her and saw that she had a defiling skin disease, and he said to Moses, please, my lord, ask you not to hold against us the sin we have so foolishly committed. Do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from its mother's womb with its flesh half eaten away. So
Oh my
Moses cried
gosh.
out to the Lord, please, God, heal her. And the Lord replied to Moses, if her father had spit in her face, would she not have been in disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she can be brought back. So Miriam was
Yeah,
confined outside the camp for
I
7
know.
days, and the people did not move on till she was brought back. And it's just
You
like,
think about
that is
what you've done.
such a father thing to do.
It really
Hear
is.
the kids
Like,
grumbling, bring them all together, give them a good talking to, and then discipline.
and it's almost like so she's gone in time out and it's like so she's sat there for 7 days and none
Yep,
of them can move on until she's finished this 7 days of
yep,
like time out. And so she's
yep,
like she'll feel like, oh, she's ruined it for everybody.
yep, yep.
It's just like, oh my gosh. Oh, that is so funny. But yeah, I mean, there's so many moments where you think, oh my gosh, yeah, that is such a father thing to do. It really, really is. And I love it. So what I use when I read the Bible, so I'm quite a visual person.
Mhm.
So I've got an app called the Bible Project. Obviously not sponsored. And I so when I read a page, I can press on something called more resources, and it comes up with like little animations that explain different things and stuff. And oh, it's so good.
I think
It's so good.
I would be cautious with that. I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but I think one of my church ladies was telling me about the Bible Project or something similar to it, and how like the early versions of it are really good, and like the later versions of it kind of stray further than they should.
Oh,
Like,
really? I'll look into
yeah.
that then. I will look
I would
into that.
definitely look at because I remember I think it was the Bible Project she was talking about.
There are a few different ones that I have tried and deleted.
Yeah.
Um,
But I know there's definitely one that's like the early versions are really good, but it's more like the recent stuff, the later versions where it starts to add things that aren't I don't
s-
I don't
so the
fully remember
stuff
what she was
that
telling me, but and I haven't used
so
it
the Bible
myself, so
Project, yeah, so the
but
Bible Project, what they tend to do is they sort of go back to the original Hebrew. So like I'm on Deuteronomy at the minute, so it's talking a little bit about the oh gosh, what's it called? The Shema, the prayer. And it's talking about so like God's personal name. So obviously in the Bible it's Lord, but it's actually all in capitals. And that actually means very different to Lord if it's just capital L O and then lowercase O R D. Um, and how so when God introduces himself to Moses, he says, I am who is I think. Again,
I
not educated.
am who I am, I
I am
think,
who I am. Yeah.
or just
And
I
that,
am. I know the I am for sure.
yeah. And so, but when Moses is introducing him to the Israelites, he can't say that. He has to say he is who he is, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's where Yahweh comes from. And
Really?
yeah, that's where the word Yahweh comes from. And but the Jewish people wanted to protect the sacred name of God, so they actually changed that to Adonai. Have you heard of Adonai?
Oh, yep, I know Adonai. I
And
actually just shared a list of all of God's names on Facebook, and
yeah, and
Yahweh's my
so
favorite. Just saying,
Yahweh,
Yahweh's my
I love
favorite.
Yahweh. I've got a top that says Yahweh, and it's because they don't use. I can't remember which. There's certain letters. Is it? I don't know, but it doesn't have vowels or something like that. It's like why? What is it? Let me have a look. But so that's basically all of the sort of things that they cover. It's like they look at the original Hebrew, which is quite interesting. Um, but to be honest, anything that I come across in like content wise, I always pray for wisdom and discernment because there are a few times that I have watched something where it's supposedly, talking about scripture or doctrine or whatever, and something doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the same, I suppose it's the same when it comes to like, my pastor. Like I don't necessarily agree with everything that's in the service. But that's okay because I pray for discernment, I pray for wisdom. And to me, the ultimate authority is God. It'll never be a person. It'll never be, a mortal, if that even
Yep.
makes sense. So And I do think in this day and age, we absolutely do need a healthy dose of discernment.
Yes.
A
For
very healthy dose of discernment.
sure. But
Um,
now that we've thoroughly, I would you call that praise? I mean, I do feel like we praised his
yeah,
his fatherly capabilities. Um,
absolutely. Yeah, and
now
we
that
did
we've
so.
praised our heavenly Father, and we talk about our earthly fathers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to start or if you want me to start.
I will keep it. I'll try and keep it short. So I did in my testimony in the last episode, I talked about my dad, who was very poorly at the time. I unfortunately I did lose him at Christmas. He passed away, and not yesterday, sorry, Sunday was my first Father's Day without my earthly father, and it was very difficult. It was very sad, and yeah, I just want to briefly touch on like how how Jesus guided me through my grief. Um and it's not been easy, I will absolutely say that. One of the things that I definitely found the hardest is that my dad wasn't a believer, and um and me and Nova actually had quite an interesting um conversation before we'd started recording. But like while he was dying, he slipped into a coma. Um and I obviously me, my mum, my church family, everyone was praying for him. And I also prayed multiple times the Aaronic prayer, I think it's called. Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. I think I'm paraphrasing. I do
It took me
apologize.
it took me a minute, but I just realized my pastor says that in closing our service every week.
It's a beautiful prayer. I
Mhm.
absolutely love it.
Yep.
One of my favorite songs is that called The Blessing. And it's basically that. It's that prayer, and it's absolutely stunning. Um and I have to believe that, that I prayed that Jesus would reveal himself to my dad in those final hours, moments, whatever. And I have to believe that um that hopefully, is, God's looking after him now. Um but it is difficult. It is difficult. But I will say that if I hadn't had this faith, um I would have struggled a lot more. Um, One of the most amazing things that happened after I lost my dad, I can't remember whether I've actually mentioned this. Tell me if I have, Nova, and then I'll stop. But a week after my dad died, so he died on a Sunday morning, and the week after my dad died, I went to church. And for the longest time, my favorite psalm, well, I say longest time, but I came to Christ last July. So, but very quickly I um chose this particular psalm, Psalm 139, as my favorite psalm. I just love it. There's just something about it that I just love. Especially the I think it's verse 8. If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. Um And so yeah, anyway, went to church the week after, and I sat down. Obviously, my church family, gave the condolences and stuff. And then my pastor came up to me and he said, Would you be able to do a reading? Don't worry if not. But something must have, God must have driven him to ask me that, because you would think, don't ask someone who's actively grieving to do a reading.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that you'd think, but he came up and said, would you be okay to do a reading? And I just said, yeah, I think, yeah, because, you know, the worst thing that could happen is that I just have to step away and he would have to take over. But I said, yeah, and then he passed me the piece of paper with the reading on it, and it was Psalm 139. And I got up and did that. And for me, that was I had such an overwhelming feeling of God saying, I'm here. You know, I am absolutely right here with you while you're grieving your father. And yeah, that was amazing. I actually shared the video with you, didn't I, Nova? And I cried all the way
Yep.
through it. But
I
read it.
got to see it live,
I
but not really live.
yeah, yeah. But it was yeah.
And it almost made me
But
cry because I just wanted to give you a hug.
and so, like, talking about fathers, my dad, oh gosh, he had an absolute heart of gold. He truly, truly did. Yet he was very, very frugal. So if you had takeaway with my dad, he would absolutely
Take
say,
out
like, take
for the
out.
American
Sorry,
listeners.
I'm so sorry.
Fast
He would
food,
be
whatever.
he would say, like, so he would say, but you know, we've got chips in, so you don't need to get chips. And like for me, like if I get a
Okay, wait.
McDonald's, like the
You talking about actual chips?
oh no, oh my gosh, no fries. Fries, not crisps. So we call chip. No, yeah, so your chips are our crisps.
What? Oh my gosh, this has got extremely confusing because the
I
only
know.
time we refer to fries as chips is if you're getting fish and chips. Any other time they are French fries. And chips are like, chips, like a Dorito or something. That's a
Yeah,
chip.
that's like that's a
We
crisp.
actually have things called crisps. They're a type of chip.
Oh
Gosh.
my gosh, that is so funny. But
Anyways,
yeah, so my
continue
dad would be
on.
like, no, we don't need to get that. We can make our own fries. So yeah, he was very much he was frugal in that sense, but talking about love language, like previously, my dad's love language was money, in terms of that if you needed financial help, he would absolutely be there. Like there was my car broke down a couple of years ago on the motorway, and it was just done. The repair cost was just astronomical. And so my dad came and he got me a car. He got me a new car. I needed a car. I needed to be able to get my son to and from wherever he needed to be. And so he was that kind of dad. Like he was very oh gosh. He was very emotionally reserved. He didn't really like to show emotion at all. But that is how he showed he loved me, was to like come to the rescue, that sort of way. That we called him Batman. That was his nickname. He was Batman. Because that was his love language.
If I had voice mod on right now, I can bet you I'd have a little jingle of Batman to play. I need to
Batman.
install that so we can have sound effects.
He was
But I do
just he
think
was
it's interesting how you talked about his love language being money, because I think someone might hear that and think, oh, he just liked to spend money or whatever.
no,
But
he didn't.
I
He did not
remember
like to spend money.
I heard some pastor I listened to, I don't know, it's a toss up between church and live free at this point. One of the two, talking about like spiritual gifts. and gifts that people
Yeah.
have to further God's kingdom. And some people have a gift like me of wanting to give people things just however they can.
Yeah.
Some people are creative, some people have a leadership gift, some people have a ministry gift. And
Mhm.
one of the gifts that was mentioned is some people, I think this was on Live Free because he was talking about ways that people can express their faith, like in the average workplace. But he
Mhm.
also talked about there are some people who are purposefully blessed by God to have really good jobs, make really good income,
Yeah.
have a lot of money that they will purposefully spend not on like celebrity luxury items like, oh, I'm going to get a
Yeah.
private jet or I'm just going to go buy an island or some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
they
yeah,
use their
absolutely.
money as like, I'm going to pay for this camp out trip so X
Yeah.
amount of people can go, or I'm going to pay for this ministry, or I'm going to pay for this missionary to go and support their work. And like even in the Bible, there's an example of Leah in the New Testament who uses her wealth to help fund. Is it Paul's ministry? Or it's either Paul's ministry. There was a woman, and or Lydia. I think that's the one. I don't remember, but I know there's also a woman. I think who helped kind of fund the disciples' ministry. I don't know. This is why we're not educating you.
Oh,
I don't
is
know what.
that Joanna? Joanna, Greek
Well, I
Greek
know.
woman.
Yes, because I remember her from The Chosen, actually.
Yes, I
And I
do.
had to look up, and I do think she's actually referenced in the Bible as someone who used her wealth to
Yeah.
help either Jesus or his disciples, one of the two.
Yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
people like that who, yes, they have wealth and they aren't spending it on like, don't look at them as like a celebrity. Like if you hear someone has wealth, they're not like, you know, doing crazy stuff like you
Yeah,
hear movie
absolutely.
stars doing. They're actually doing stuff to help. And if you
Yeah.
don't know about it, that's even more biblical because
Yeah.
the Bible straight up says don't like give to charity and then immediately go online and say, guys, look what I did. I gave this amount to
Oh,
charity. I'm
yeah.
such a good person. Like,
Exactly.
no. If nobody knows
It
you ever give to charity, that's good
That's even better.
because God knows,
Yeah,
you know, and
exactly.
He's the one
And
who
it's like
matters.
people it's like people who video
um,
themselves giving to a homeless person.
yeah,
They are doing it
yeah.
for their own benefit, you know. And so my dad, obviously he wasn't a believer, but he didn't like to spend money. He wasn't one that would who spent money frivolously. Is that the right word? I think so. Um
Frivolously, yeah, I think.
Frivolously. And but he absolutely, and the reason why he was able to help in situations where I needed help was because he was frugal and had, tight purse strings. And but that was his way of helping. It absolutely was. And he was always very much um wanting me to be sensible with my finances. He was very, like did a lot of budget spreadsheets and stuff. And yeah, and that was his love language. And had he been a believer, I do believe that he would have spent money in that. um I do know that he did give to charity. um
Mm.
he did give to quite a few charities. um and especially the hospice that he went to for support during his illness. He did
I
give a lot to
remember that.
them.
That's you mentioned that with your knitting, right? That
Yeah.
the hospital that you're knitting your hearts for was connected to your dad,
Yes.
which is
And
cool.
yeah, and oh, it's just such a beautiful idea, these hearts. um but yeah, I mean, my dad absolutely loved that hospice, absolutely loved it. He didn't end up, so he was able to have choice. Oh, it sounds awful, doesn't it? But he could choose. His first choice of a place to die would have been this hospice.
Mm.
Second place was the cancer hospital. It's called Christie's in the UK. And that was his second choice. He got very poorly very quickly, but we did manage to get him into Christie's, which, and do you know what, right? And I will say this, he went for a routine oncology appointment on the Tuesday before he died, and he was very, very upset during that consultation. He felt absolutely terrible, and obviously we now know why, because he was dying. But they were not going to admit him. They were not going to admit him. They were literally going to send him home. And the consultant left, and by the grace of God, came back and said that his calcium levels were slightly elevated. So he got admitted on a technicality. And
Wow.
I thank God for that, because
Yeah.
that Tuesday evening, so when we got him onto the ward that he was admitted to, he was admitted onto like an assessment ward, because they didn't think, they were like, oh, we'll do this fusion and get your calcium levels sorted and then we'll send you home. And so he was on this assessment ward. But that Tuesday night, oh, he was so giddy and so happy, and for the first time in a long time, he actually ate all of his dinner. I would say tea. And I'm looking back now, because after that Tuesday, he obviously started declining very, very, very quickly. But that Tuesday evening, the giddiness, the happiness, I honestly believe it was pure relief. I think he knew that he was dying, and he just felt relieved that, because I know he did not want to die at home. He absolutely did not want to die at home, because he didn't want either me or my sister to be the ones to find him.
Yeah.
And I think he was just so relieved that he was in hospital, that he could let go. He could finally let go, and he could relax a bit. And he did let go, and he declined really, really fast. But I will say that the one thing that he always wanted was to die with dignity, and he absolutely did. It was so dignified, and one of the things that I will be so grateful for with the nurses at the hospital is that even though they knew that he had hours left, they still came every so often to change his position so he didn't get bed sores. And they spoke to him with such kindness and respect, even though by this point he was not responsive. And that was beautiful. But I absolutely do believe it was by the grace of God that he got into hospital, that they admitted him on a technicality. So yeah, it's been hard. It's been really hard. And grief is one of those things that will just sucker punch you out of nowhere.
Yes.
It really will. Yeah. Because for the longest time, it's even the language. I went to a coffee and bingo morning at the hospice that he loved a couple of weekends ago. And I think my mum was showing a picture of him to somebody, and the person said, oh, he's got such a kind face. And I said, oh, he does, doesn't he? And then I realized, and then I said he did, and that upset me. Like, the change in language from present to past
Yeah.
tense is something that I really struggled with. And even the sentence of my dad has died, that was something that even now feels really weird to say.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
weird to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, God has absolutely helped me in my grief. And obviously having the support of a supportive church and a really good church family has been a blessing in and of itself. So yeah.
Well, I have been blessed in that I haven't lost any of my close relatives yet. Though I know that day may be coming sooner than I like. But and all my father figures in my life are still alive and kicking as of the recording of this episode. But
Mhm.
I know that even though I don't have personal experience with family death, let alone something as tragic as dealing with cancer, I know that's not a fun thing to go through, whether you're the person or the family member. Um, but I know it does help to have a support network, whether
Yeah,
it's, additional family that you can comfort each other, friends, church community, you know,
oh,
godly or
definitely.
ungodly, as long as you have, you know,
Oh,
people
it does help.
who care, who genuinely
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
Um, you
Oh,
know,
definitely. Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
mm.
It does.
Gosh,
But yeah,
I
he was
feel
a
like
good.
I feel like talking about my father's is like I don't really know how to start. I don't want to just like so. Anyways, my father's still alive. Like that sounds awful. How do I like?
Fine.
like
It's fine because I
oh,
know what you're going to talk about, and I will say just as a just before you get into it, is that grief comes in many different forms, and it doesn't necessarily have to relate to the loss, the death of someone. So, but yeah,
yeah,
you carry on.
yeah. The reason she brought that up is because while my grandfather, my biological father, and I also have a stepfather, they're all alive and well. They aren't all actively. I mean, I literally live on the other side of a country from
Yeah,
them, so they're a bit far. So this Father's Day was just me and my heavenly Father. Um,
yeah,
but no, she kind of mentioned the grief related to me as well, because even though my biological father is alive and well, he um he had a stroke many years ago, like when I was in, you know, I'm I'm next year I'll be 30 years old, and he had this stroke when I was in middle school. So it's even now I still have struggles with him. I love my dad, and I will always love my dad, as my stepdad always says. My dad will always be my dad.
mhm,
uh, death, no death, sickness, health, it doesn't matter. Your family is your family, and
yeah,
and I will never not love him. However, I do admit that I harbor a little bit of resentment at him because before so he had this stroke when I was in like middle school, almost going into high school. And before that, he and my mom had been separated. They divorced only a few years prior. And I remember my mom and my dad going through issues. And I remember going to my mom one day and I asked her, I said, Mom, are you and Dad going to get a divorce? And I remember she told me, no, no, we're not. And then the next conversation, she turns around and tells me that they're getting a divorce. So,
yeah,
mom's a different topic, but like I said, I love her as much as I love my dad, but there is a bit of frustration, annoyance, resentment, if you will, with that as well. But so for the majority of my life, my dad was present, but he wasn't in the home as much. He ended up moving in with my grandparents, and in my early childhood, going to grandma and grandpa's was like the best thing ever. Holidays, birthdays, special events. It was just a wonderful time. I got to hang out with all my cousins, and I have good memories going over to my grandparents' house. But my life is kind of in these segments. So it's almost like my memories are confined to these boxes. You know, there's the box of grandma and grandpa time before my parents split. And then there's
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa time after my parents split when my dad was living there. And then it's like I don't even want to remember the more recent stuff. I want to hold on to the past because that's where the happy memories are.
Yeah.
Because when my dad moved in with my grandma and grandpa, the resentment comes from the fact that for years, um, grandma and grandpa's house was a good place and I loved to go over there. And all of a sudden, now it was, oh, we're not invited to grandma and grandpa's. We have to go over to grandma and grandpa's every Sunday because that's when dad got his time with us. So every Sunday went from being, and this may even be why I developed a, a dislike of Sundays and a dislike of church. Because just as I have segments with grandma and grandpa, there's segments of church. I have great memories of the first church I ever went to. It was called Christ the Word. And I went to youth group. I had friends there. We would go to Bible study. I loved going to Bible studies, and I'm a kid, so you go to Bible study not so much to do the Bible, but to hang out with your friends, in the basement
Yeah.
or wherever they have the kids. Vacation Bible school, all these fun memories. And then that just became, Sundays, fun days became Sundays. I don't even want to leave the house because you go to church and then we have to go to grandma and grandpa's, which was dad time. It wasn't grandma and grandpa's grandma and grandpa. It was grandma and grandpa's because that's where dad lives now.
Yeah.
Well, dad spent years literally sleeping our time away. I mean, we would go to church, and when we would get dropped off. My mom didn't want anything to do with my dad or my relatives, which, at least from my understanding, my uncles and my grandparents, I mean, I obviously wasn't partial to the adult conversations, but they don't hate my mother. My mother is my mother, and she was of the mind that she didn't ever want to keep us from my dad, which was part of the
Yeah.
problem eventually. But she never wanted to be that parent who wanted to take the kids and go. She wanted my dad to be involved in my life, probably because she didn't want to hear my dad complain about anything, if I had to be honest, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, my grandma and grandpa, they were always nice to my mom, but she would literally drop us off on the side of the street and have us walk up to grandma and grandpa's house. She wouldn't even walk up with us, which is another
Yeah.
frustration of mine. But then
Mhm.
dad, we'd walk in, hug grandma and grandpa, and then we got relegated to a dark basement where my dad was sleeping most of the time. And I have more memories of sitting in the dark, watching my brother and sister argue over a TV remote quietly so they don't wake up dad. And then he
Yeah.
wakes up, we eat dinner with grandma and grandpa, and then we go home. And that was
Yeah.
my spending time with dad for years. And then
Mhm.
he has his stroke, and I mean, he went from being a normal, functioning human being to now he's, at the time, you know, mid 40s, early 50s. He's not an old man at all, but he's relegated
No.
to a wheelchair. He can't move his left or his right side is like his arm is paralyzed. He can't write. He had to learn to write with his left hand. He has a speech impediment. He can't say a lot. His mind still works, but there's disconnect between his mind and his
Yeah.
mouth, and he can't. I mean, he can barely say my name. Every time he talks to me, he references me as he, and you have to
Yeah.
kind of correct him and help him. And it it's painful to think that obviously you don't know the future. You don't know. You could walk out and die tomorrow. You don't know what's going to
Mhm.
happen. You don't know if you're going to die. You don't know if you're going to live a long life. You don't know if you're going to be paralyzed and go from being a normal functioning person to disabled in
Yeah.
any sort of way. So obviously we didn't know that was going to happen, but now that it has happened, it's like he thinks that he can do things that he actually physically can't. He thinks that he
Yeah.
can, you know, do all the things a normal person, my uncles, me, he thinks that we can do all that stuff. I live on the other side of the country. He wants to come visit me. Like, I want you to come visit me too, but it's not realistically going to happen. You're going to need a lot of maintenance and a lot of care
Yeah.
that I can't provide for you. And it's like, there's a part of me, a very real part of me that's like, you had years to spend time with us and you slept them away.
Yeah.
You slept them away. And you know what? We couldn't even spend those times with grandma and grandpa because, you know, you don't live forever. They're getting up there
Mhm.
in years. And my grandma is slowly losing her mind and her memory. She's got Alzheimer's, dementia, she's losing her memory.
Mhm.
And I'm fortunate that the last time I saw her, she seemed she was very lucid and very normal, and I didn't have that experience of who are you. But I fear that
Yeah.
day. I fear that day will come.
Yeah.
And my grandpa, he's got problems with his eyesight. They're getting to the point where they're not going to be able to live on their own for much longer. They're going to need help. They're going to need a facility. And it's like, not only did my dad sleep away time with us, he kept us from time with our grandparents.
Yeah.
And I just, it, and then there's the fact of getting used to having a father who, had the ability to be normal. I mean, he was going to teach me how to drive. And
Mhm.
now I blame my brother and sister for that terrible incident because I was 16 and he's taking me to a parking lot and then he just plops me in the driver's seat and like, "What?" And then my brother and sister are crying in the back and he's yelling at me.
Gosh.
And like,
Oh no.
well, that's why I don't drive anymore. Um, but or that scared me out of actually wanting to get a license when I was 18.
Yeah.
Um, but he had his stroke not long after that. And like I said, I do still love him. And I do
Yeah.
wish that we could do things together, but that's just not the reality we have. And now he's not confined, like he has a wheelchair and he has a walker and stuff. Um so he can go places, but he can't go very far and he can't go out for very long. He thinks he can spend a day at the zoo. And we're like, "No." Like I've seen, you go over to a family gathering at like noon and by 5 p.m. you're tired. Like I know you.
Yeah.
He's got medication he's got to take. He's got, mental issues he's got to manage and take care of. But
Mhm.
it is, I mean, it's hard when there's a portion of your life where you wanted nothing more than to spend time with someone and they don't spend time with you and
Yeah.
now they all of a sudden want to talk and want to spend time with you and you're just like, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love you, but I don't really have a lot to say to you. Um,
Yeah.
and but
And that's why that's kind of grief.
it is it's definitely something I've had to come to terms with. I moved out of my parents' house in 2023, and I remember I had a moment before I left where I was just standing in my living room one night and I just thought to myself, my dad will never get better. He will never
Yeah.
be normal again. And after so many years, you hold out hope that he'll get therapy, that the doctors will give him some medicine, that they'll be able to fix what was broken,
Yeah.
and eventually just come to terms like this is the new normal. And once you get to
Mhm.
that point, now you have to deal with how do I integrate this new normal into my life?
Yeah.
And it's still a process, but to make it not completely depressing, my you know, while that's all going on with my dad, there was a bright spot in my life in that my mom met my stepdad.
Yeah.
And my stepdad, I love him. He's funny. He's great. And I remember encouraging him to marry my mom because I loved him that much. He's a truck driver and he's a hunter when he can, and he is the definition of a stepdad because he stepped up and took care
Yeah.
of us, me and my two siblings and my mom. Sometimes
Mhm.
to his regret, because we're but it's okay. Just I'm totally not the favorite. Wink, wink. He can't have favorites. But if he did, it would not be me. Wink, wink. Um, but anyways, he I know my dad, at least at first, did not like my stepdad. Back when he was just the boyfriend. Didn't like him because he had a motorcycle and he's like, "Oh, he rides a motorcycle? Oh, can't have that. Like that's bad behavior." No, he's not like a biker. He just has a motorcycle and he rides to work sometimes. Um, and my mom used to go uh riding it down south on like motorcycle trails and stuff. Don't know why they stopped doing that. But no, he came into my life and there were changes for sure, but most of them were good. He moved us into his house, which got me my first dog ever. Katie, may you rest in peace. I love you so much.
Oh.
Oh, such a goofy miniature supposed to be white lab.
Oh.
Oh, I have so many funny pictures of her. My favorite is that I was holding a big tomato and I caught a picture of her looking so lovingly at this tomato, like I would give anything to have that tomato. It's the funniest picture ever. Maybe I'll post it on one of the social medias after this.
Oh my god,
Um,
yes.
but yep, and then he let my mom get two miniature dachshunds, which are so funny. Oh,
Oh, they're cute.
dachshunds. Oh, they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all adorable. They're all goofy, and they're all tiny. Except my mom, she got the
Yes.
tiniest dachshund ever. Story for a different
Oh.
day. But yeah, my my stepdad, he helped me. He helped me be someone who could go into the world with common sense.
Yes.
And you know what? Actually, yeah. If I could say two good things about my dad and my stepdad, is that my stepdad helped me grow to be a worldly woman. And my
Yeah.
dad, I didn't I didn't know this at the time, but he helped me become a more godly woman.
Yeah.
And they're, I think, two sides of all of us. We all have a spiritual side and we all have a worldly side. And
Absolutely.
I know the Bible says that, divorce isn't an ideal outcome for the family. But the thing about God is that He takes the bad in our life and uses it for good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I don't know where my life would have gone if my stepdad hasn't came into it. So I guess to start winding down our podcast, I would say a happy Father's Day to my dad and my
Mm-hmm.
stepdad and even my granddad because, you know, he doesn't have too much impact on me, but you know what? I never got to meet my mom's dad. He died right before I was born or when I was very young, too young to even remember him. I don't remember. But on my father's side, I am very blessed that because he is a veteran. He went overseas, fought in an actual real war. I forget which one.
Yeah.
Probably Vietnam. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, Grandpa. If you listen to this, I don't know if he will. But he came home. He came home and he has lived a fantastic life that I've got to be a part of. And I know
Yeah.
not everybody gets that. So I'm thankful for all my dads. All four of them. Stepdad, real dad, or biological dad, granddad, and heavenly dad.
Yes. Absolutely. And yeah, and I think it's beautiful to have, that father figure, because it doesn't need to be blood related to have an impact, to
Nope.
be a father figure to someone and to step up. And
Nope.
that's wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I know how much you love your stepdad.
I do. I love him. I love you a lot, stepdad. If you listen to this, I don't know if you will, but he used to tell me that the only regret he had is that he didn't get more time with me because by the time he
Yeah.
met me, I was in high school. And so he didn't get as much teaching time with me as he did my siblings.
Yeah.
And yet, even though I got the most of the time, I seem to have got the most out of it because my brother and sister still live at home with him. So, shame on you two. Get out of the house. Oh my gosh. And the fact that you can't drive or don't have a car is no excuse. I don't have a car. I don't drive. I don't even have my license yet. But you know what? I live on the other side of the state. And I still get to work. And not only that, I
You
go to
do.
church. I
You do.
am doing far more adult stuff. So grow up and get out so mom and stepdad can live in, elderly paradise without children at home.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But
You know
yeah.
what? When my stepdad passes away and isn't gonna restrain me anymore, oh, I've got words for you too. Putting that out there right now. Siblings, that's gonna be a whole topic as well. Ugh.
Yes. But
Anyways,
no, it's yeah. So happy Father's Day to all the dads that, the biological dads, and also the stepdads that stepped up, and to our heavenly dad.
and the granddads.
And absolutely, and the granddads.
And
And the
I know
granddads.
we'll get into a supernatural topic at some point. The dead don't speak to us,
No,
but
they do not.
I don't know if they can maybe hear us.
I'm not sure. I
I don't know.
think I
But
don't
if they
think they can.
can, you know,
If they can, then Dad, I hope you are in paradise with Jesus right now. And that's another thing. I don't know. I'm not too sure what happens after you die, whether you go to paradise and like a heavenly waiting area, or whether it's like sleep and
definitely a conversation for
yeah,
a
that
new
is the
episode.
thing.
But from what we'll for that episode, you and I are gonna watch a specific Live Free podcast episode because they talk primarily about hell, honestly, but they do
Yeah.
go into like I'm gonna use a fancy word that I learned from these pastors called eschatology. My uncles use that term
I
too.
I've heard of that.
It's
Don't know what it means.
the discussion of like end times related stuff, I think is what that means. And
Okay.
they kind of talk about how the Bible does say that it seems to be that you don't go straight to hell or heaven. It
Mhm.
seems like there is a quote unquote waiting area for, but
Yeah.
there's two different ones. There are those who will go to heaven and those who will go to hell. It's like you get pre-paradise and pre-hell, kind
Yeah.
of. But we'll have to watch that episode and kind of take bits and pieces and kind of share our own thoughts on it. But I do want to talk about like all that afterlife stuff because it's fascinating to
Yeah.
me.
It is fascinating. Yeah, we will definitely do that.
But a lot of
We will.
unknowns. And you know, because of that is why I do say that, firmly know, firmly acknowledge, firmly believe the dead don't talk to us. They don't. If you're talking
Mhm.
to the dead, you're not talking to the dead. You're talking to a spirit, unholy
Yes.
spirit. Like I said, we'll
Mhm.
get into a whole topic discussion. But I do wonder if they can, if not hear, see, or have some awareness. Like I don't think
Mm.
they interact. I don't think they don't talk. They don't do anything. But kind of like, I don't know, like they're sitting in a waiting room watching a TV that's just our life or something. I don't know. It's a terrible description of visual, but that's kind of how I look at it is like, if you're sending up prayers to God and you mention your family or, I do think they might maybe have some, you know, knowledge because I
Yeah.
know the Bible, I was reading Revelations the other night. I don't even know why I started, but I found myself like getting so deep in Revelation that my head started to hurt. Like I don't know why. I don't even remember what I was looking for. This stuff is so whoa. But then I got to that part where they're opening up the seals, and one of the seals, this altar opens up, and it's all the souls of those who have been persecuted, murdered in the name of Christ, and they're all crying out for justice. So it implies that they're not unaware of,
Yeah.
at least up until they died. Um, which, if you were someone who had a family when you died, it's like, you know, how's my daughter doing? Like, they have some seeming awareness.
Yeah.
So that's why I wonder, if we say
It'll be interesting.
things, if they do hear
Yeah.
them, or if I don't know, there's an angel who's like, oh hey, your daughter mentioned you, wished you a happy Father's Day. you know,
Yes.
that's a fun thought.
My gosh.
um,
Yeah.
you know, anyways.
Oh.
So
I
yeah.
like to imagine my dad with all of his doggies that he has had and lost over the years. He loved dogs. Absolutely adored dogs. And yeah, so if there is a way for you to hear me, then I hope you're with Mozart and Millie and Minnie and Sally and Bess.
Aw.
A lot of doggies, a lot of doggies.
Well, speaking of doggies, yours comes home tomorrow.
I cannot wait. So I have a German Shepherd called Samson, and he's my soul dog. I adore him so much. But he has issues.
He's
He's
got
a little
issues.
reactive. He does have issues. He absolutely does. He's very, very reactive, is very scared of the world. Wish I knew why, but he just is. And I have sent him to a board and train, and he has been there for 3 weeks. He is doing very, very, very well. But I go and get him tomorrow and bring him home. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But yeah, he is beautiful. I actually got Samson like a week before my dad really went downhill. And I honestly believe that God, it had to be Samson. Like God he sent Samson my way because he was just amazing. Like those sleepless nights after my dad died and having Samson there was such a comfort. I just adore him so much. I can't wait. It feels like Christmas Eve.
Samson Eve.
It's Samson Eve.
Samson Eve. So yep,
So, yeah.
next episode you may hear the barks of a Samson.
Yes, you may, and you also may be like, I might have to be like, nope, Samson, don't do that. Yeah, so it might be a little bit more chaotic on my part, but it's Samson and he's allowed.
Yes. Samson was a very mighty man, and Samson the dog is a very mighty dog. Hopefully he'll become a mighty dog. He's a bit of a cowardly
He
dog
is
right now,
such a
but
wuss. He is. Oh, it's so funny. He's such a wuss. He really is like the biggest scaredy cat in the world. The biggest scaredy cat. So yeah, but we shall see. We shall see. And yeah, can't wait to see him. I cannot wait. So
well, are you ready? Are you calm?
yes,
You relax?
yes.
You
Oh my gosh, I am.
okay.
Right. Oh, this feels really weird, but I'm going to try my absolute best.
You'll do great.
Please bear with me.
You do great.
Heavenly Father, first of all, we would like to thank you for being present and comforting us through troubled times. And thank you for our fathers, whether, biological or stepfather or adopted father or grandfather. And yeah, and personally, I want to thank you for carrying me through my grief and being there, and also bless this podcast. And I do hope that we don't sound too awkward and that we do make sense, and that this brings glory to you and that we have done you proud, and also bless whoever is listening, and yeah, reveal yourself to people in. And can you just edit this out, Nova? I'm really bad at this, and I'll start again.
What? You're fine. You're fine.
Oh,
You did fine.
bad at it.
Just say amen. Just say amen.
Amen.
Okay.
I hate it. I can't do it, Nova.
You can keep it short and sweet. It's fine.
I know, but I'm bad at that. I ramble. It's what I do. It's what I do. When I get nervous, I just talk and I don't stop.
Well, wait, see, when I get nervous, I tend to stop talking, so...
No, I'm the opposite. The more nervous I get, the more I talk, to the point where it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Well...
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, it's so funny, though, that we are the same in terms of, like, social things, but we deal with it the complete opposite.
I know.
And this is why I cannot lead prayer. My mum is so good at it. She's so good at it. Like, she just knows what to say, and I have no clue.
Well, that's why we're practicing.
I know, it's practicing. So yeah, anyone listening to this that is like also feels really awkward when they're asked to lead prayer, I hope my absolutely abysmal attempt has made you feel better. And that it's okay, we can keep trying.
You'll get there eventually.
God loves a trier.
I think he does, because he knows your heart.
Yeah.
He knows your heart's in the right place. And I don't... Okay, I'll tell you one thing, and then we'll say our little saying, and then we'll end the podcast.
Yes.
So, funny thing, in church, we always have an elder come up and do announcements and kind of lead us through the bulletin until we get to the pastor doing the sermon, right?
Yeah.
And every time we get to, they call it the house of prayer, where they have this dialogue in the bulletin. The leader says something, and then the congregation, outsiders would look at it being very cult-like, but you could just kind of repeat what's being said in the bulletin.
Yeah.
And every time we have one elder, I every time he has such long prayers. There's been a few times I'm like, I find myself like falling asleep. Like the prayer is so long. I'm like, are we still praying? It's so long. Because you
Oh my
have to understand,
gosh.
this isn't just him praying. This is, we've already gone through like 8 dialogue lines of prayer, and then he does his own prayer at the end. And then after he does his prayer, we're supposed to say the Lord's Prayer. So like we're just sitting there waiting, and I'm
Oh
just like,
wow.
are we done yet? Is he like, I'm trying to gauge the tone of his voice, like is he winding down the prayer? And he kind of sounds like he's winding, and then it's like, oh nope, we're going back to the start. Like, oh my god.
Oh, that is so funny.
So,
Oh my gosh.
but it's great. They get so into it though, so
I know.
don't
I
feel
love that.
bad. Don't feel bad.
I
It's not just you. If anything, I'm probably
yeah, but
ashamed that I do short prayers because I'm like,
well,
was this long enough? Is this an acceptable prayer? Like, because sometimes I'll
the
just
thing
like say to God, like, soften my heart or something like that. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's really all I want to say. I just sit and sometimes I'll pray and I'm just sitting in silence. Like, I feel like, I gotta like, I don't want to end the prayer, but I feel like I didn't say enough. So but anyways, it's a good
Pray
thing to
yeah,
practice.
it is. But with me, it's like I start panicking, and so I start just picking random words. And then until it just becomes like a huge mess of vocabulary that does not make sense.
Well,
Um
the next time you pray, when I will gauge an acceptable length of prayer for you, and then I'll just insert and amen.
yeah, just go amen.
Okay. If I, because I can kind of, I could kind of hear when you were starting to stumble a little bit,
I
and I'm
did
like,
not know
okay.
what to say.
So,
Like when
I
reveal yourself to people in a way, and I did not know what
and
way. I was like, I don't know what to say
it's
next.
okay. I mean, I am here to help. I am here to help. But yes.
We're
Uh,
gonna be master prayer leaders at some point.
hopefully that'd be nice. That way, whenever it's like, shall we start in prayer? Be the person like, oh yes,
You
me.
can jump
Raise my
up.
hand.
Yeah, you can jump up and say, "Yes, I will." Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. That'd be a miracle, actually.
It would. It really would.
Okay, well, before we drag this podcast on for an additional hour,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
um, let us remember that this is the day that the Lord has made.
And we will rejoice and be glad in it.
Ah, you remembered! I'm
God
so
bless
proud of you.
everybody.
I'm so proud. Yes, yes. God bless everyone and have a good day.
Yes. Bye bye.